Hey there, you guys. So, I want to talk to you about your literature review draft that you have coming up. Talk about how that fits in with your intersecting sources or your intersecting ideas assignment that we've just completed, and also where your annotated bibliography fits. Because I told you that's going to be a tool throughout the rest of term, and I want to show you how you use it today. All right, so before we do that, we have some little policy things that I want to talk about. First off, these can be found, by the way, in the syllabus. But first off, I want to talk about the draft, the idea of a draft. This is not a rough draft. This is the best draft that you can create without guidance from either myself or your classmates. I said this in class a few weeks ago, but in case you missed it, I grade drafts as if they were a final draft. This isn't something where you just kind of spitball some stuff, throw it down on a piece of paper, throw it at the wall, see how it sticks, right? This is the best thing that you can create. Use the tutors at the Learning Success Center. Use Grammarly, right, to check to make sure your ideas are understandable. I strongly recommend it. I use Grammarly all the time. It is very helpful, especially if you're someone who maybe can fall a little bit on the wordy side. I'm like that, so I use it to help tidy things up, and you know what? It helps develop good habits over time. So I have been using it for about a year now. I can use it less and less the more that it teaches me. So it's actually really cool. So I strongly recommend Grammarly. I strongly recommend a tutor. One other thing that I want to point out is if you do not submit a draft assignment by the deadline, then you're ineligible to participate in peer review. Also says this in the syllabus. The reason for that is peer review is a reciprocal assignment. You essentially give your paper to someone, they give their paper to you, and you guys make comments and learn more about the assignment as you're making comments on someone else's ideas. Now, if that only goes one way, right, you've given, or if someone's given their paper to you, the other person doesn't have the opportunity to learn from the peer review they're writing for you. Okay, so you really want to make sure that, like you submit your draft, because I don't want you to lose out on points for the draft and for the peer review. That'd be quite the hit. All right, so now I'm going to move into talking about your draft itself, because organization, just overall looking at the intersecting ideas assignments, is probably going to be the biggest hurdle for us to accomplish. Now, I recognize that the intersecting ideas assignment is a brainstorm, right? So, of course, I don't expect high quality, top tier organization. It's a brainstorm, right? I just want to see the ideas down on paper. But the thing is that in the draft, I will need to see that organization very clearly. So, in your thesis statement, right, should be the last sentence of your intro, right? Dig back into your memory banks from English 1101 and 1102. Last sentence of your intro should be a thesis, and this thesis will identify your scholars. You don't have to name drop them. You have 6, so that would make for a very confusing thesis. Just identify them as scholars, your primary source and your primary source's author, and also the ways in which your sources intersect. Okay, you'll probably have about 3, shoot for 3. Okay, and so once you identify those things in your thesis statement, in your body paragraphs, you should be clearly identifying the scholars that your paragraph is going to intersect with, like who is involved in the point of intersection that this body paragraph is relating to, and of course the point of intersection that the body paragraph relates to. Okay, then obviously within that paragraph you show how those two sources, using specific examples, this is where your annotated bibliography comes in. Take a look at those quotations and paraphrases that you used in your summary paragraphs and link that in. Now, your second paragraphs in your annotated bibliography will help you find those intersecting sources if you're still struggling to do so. All right, so that annotated bibliography will help you throughout this course, so make sure you're using it, especially for this, so you're not flipping back and forth through each of your sources. I mean, that could be 60, 70 pages worth of paper flipping. So, yeah, the biggest thing is going to be keeping your ideas organized, because we have a lot going on, right? We're talking about 6 different sources. We're talking about ways that their ideas intersect. And, you really need to make sure that all of your sources are intersecting with one another. So if you have one source that's an outlier and that doesn't seem to be intersecting with anything, right? It's like your whole, all of your sources are talking about doors, and this one over here is talking about a window. That's a little bit different. So, you want to make sure that you can link them together well. That's kind of the biggest thing, and that'll shine through in your organization. All right, so give yourself, the best opportunity. Put your best foot forward in terms of your draft assignment, and then also make sure that your organization is top quality. That's what I'm looking for. All right, you guys, have a great rest of your day. If you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, I'll see you next time.